Dollar. Dirt and money, no soul. Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack and flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.
Yup, what's good, original crew? It's your boy DJ Dookie, your girl.
Sierra Nicole.
Back on the channel with another
Kid and C original.
Welcome back to the channel. And we got top 10 scary kids raised by animals. What would you have done if you were raised by an animal?
Just been raised by an animal. I wouldn't have known.
Well, you might have when you walk across, be like, who is you? You look like me.
I am done.
Why are you walking on both of your feet? But they won't even know how to talk.
That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't have known, like, any, you know what I'm saying? That's all I would have known.
You never know.
You never know. Depends on when I got with them. Like, when they...
It's kind of like Story of Tarzan. So with that being said, before we get into it, make sure y'all check out the links in the description box down below. You already know where to go. If you want to further support, you can always check out the information down below. Also, we always take this time and salute to the comment of the day, man. We highly appreciate y'all, man. Y'all keep running us up in the comment section down below. We're going to keep spamming these videos out for y'all as well. Also, if you enjoyed today's video, man, make sure you lock it in with a thumbs up. We highly appreciate that as well. But it's top 10 scary kids raised by animals. I'm ready to find out. You ready? All right, let's get into it, y'all.
I'm going to presume that you guys were raised by humans. Am I right? I'm probably right. However, the same can't be said for everyone. Throughout history, there have been real cases of people, just like you and me, being raised by animals. How did they behave and what happened to them? Let's find out. My name is Danny Berg and this is the top 10 scary kids raised by animals. Starting off at number 10 now, we have Ivan Mishukov. This boy from Russia was found by Moscow police when he was 6 years old. He had been living with a pack of dogs for 2 years. He had run away from his mother's abusive boyfriend. Now, police actually had to bait the dogs away from him with food because the pack were protecting him and they wouldn't let him go. It turns out he had gained their trust by providing them with food. He actually rose his way up through the ranks of the pack to become the pack leader. They helped each other survive the harsh Russian winters. Normally, you think this would change a child forever, but Ivan went on to live quite a normal life. He picked up Russian quite easily, he went to military school and even served in the Russian army. At number 9 now, we have the cat boy. This incredible story comes from Argentina in 2008, where a homeless man who was out collecting cardboard lost his 1-year-old son. After a while, police discovered the toddler surrounded by 8 wild cats. The cats were very protective and started hissing at the police when they tried to get him. They found that the cats had kept the child alive during the winter by licking him, sitting on top of him to keep him warm, and by bringing him scraps of food for him to eat. The police were certain that if it had not been for the cats, the boy would have died. Coming in at number 8 now, we have...
So that's 2 situations. It's just like, bro. But the first one, the boy raised up. What, like, how you know how you rise up in a pack? You gotta fight. So he tell me he was scrapping with dogs, or intimidation, or you know what I'm saying. You have to do something to gain their respect enough for you to rise.
Well, I guess gaining their respect was like he said. It was like he was bringing them food, stuff like that. He was feeding them. He was What does it say he was doing?
But he had to do something like...
Well, we don't know, but I'm glad he was able to
like, you know...
You just be so...
Oh, man. I'm saying like we should do...
Do it again. Do it one more time for the people.
Shut up.
Of Natasha. This girl was so neglected by her family that she was left to be raised by the dogs and cats that lived in her apartment block in her Russian town. She ate from their food bowls with them and had no idea how to use proper cutlery. She spent so long wandering around with the dogs and cats that she didn't know a single human word and would only communicate with her rescuers through hisses and barks. Her father was nowhere to be found when they rescued her, and Natasha was placed in an orphanage. At number 7 now, we have the monkey boy. In 1987, locals in South South Africa found a 5-year-old boy by himself who had been spotted living with monkeys. He would climb trees and onto the rooftops. He loved fruit, especially bananas, obviously, and apparently he used to run using his legs and arms like a monkey, even though one of his legs was broken. He was given the name Saturday the day they found him on. Care workers struggled to rehabilitate him back into society from the time he spent with the monkeys, and amazingly, it looked like they never could. I found news articles from 10 and even 20 years after this story that claimed he had never stopped being more monkey-like than human. At number 6 now, we have...
You remember, have you seen that boy lately that they've been talking about how they rescued him from living with monkeys and he's living like a normal human being? It's the African boy, but he's going to school now.
Oh yeah, I've seen it, but I didn't think it was to that. No.
They said he used to.
I'm not sure. I did see like
the pictures,
but I didn't like read what maybe I have to go back and read.
And they said he was raised like he was living amongst the animals, and now he's. I was like, what?
The dog boy. This story comes from Chile, where police found that a boy who had been abandoned by his parents for 2 years was now living with a stray pack of dogs. He lived with the 15 dogs in a cave and would roam the streets with them, eating out of garbage cans for leftovers. He would even drink milk from the breast of one of the female dogs. When police tried to take him into care, he ran away and jumped into the water. He barked at them and didn't say a single word. I think he had a long road back to humanity ahead of him. Okay, moving on to number 5 now, we have Ramachandra. This boy from India was first reported in 1973 when he was about 12 years old. He had been living an amphibian lifestyle by the Kowano River. He was captured in 1979 and taken to a nearby village. He did not adapt too well. He preferred raw food, he couldn't walk properly, and spent his time alone by the river. As you can see from this picture, he preferred to walk on...
Whoa.
Wow.
And you see how his hands has disformed since, you know what I'm saying, from being that. And then look at is that his feet? Possibly? Yo, that's scary, bro.
All fours. His hands had even fused into something resembling the paws of an animal. Villagers were convinced that he had lived among the many amphibious lizards and crocodiles of the river for all of his years. In 1982, he was sadly killed when a woman threw boiling water over him out of shock when he approached her. Coming at number 4 now, we have Marina Chapman. This author was kidnapped as a child in the Colombian jungle. Amazingly, she escaped and was adopted by capuchin monkeys who have been known to do this sort of thing. She learned from them how to catch animals with her own bare hands. This went on for an incredible 5 years in the jungle until some hunters found her and sold her to a brothel. She eventually escaped that as well and managed to start a new life in England. Psychologists tested her brain's reaction to pictures of capuchin monkeys and determined that along with evidence of her diet, she was telling the truth. Okay, at number 3 now, we have Sasha T. This boy was found by social workers in 2012 abandoned in a room with goats who had raised him. His mother had left him in there and he didn't know how to speak. He just played and slept with the goats. The room was ice cold and filthy. Care workers rushed him to hospital straight away, where doctors said that because of how he had lived with the goats, his brain had not developed properly. He weighed 30% less than an average child of his age. He refused to sleep in his cradle and tried to get underneath it to sleep. What made things even worse was that he was terrified of the adults around him and constantly tried to break everything in sight. Okay, moving on to number 2 now, we have...
That's and it's dangerous to take them out of their habits, like especially when they've been so young, and try to like force. Because you gotta break them away from that, and then try to. That's years of processing.
Yep. That's crazy.
For one, you gotta allow them to gain your trust. like an animal, and then you have to try to train them to realize that is not how you're supposed to be. You know what I'm saying?
Wolf Boy. This story comes from Russia in 2007, where police there were hunting what locals called a werewolf boy. He had escaped from a clinic where doctors were shocked. They said he was found living with a pack of wolves in a remote forest in central Russia. He had typical wolf-like behavior and would snarl and bite at anyone who approached him. He didn't speak Russia or in fact any other language. He walked with his legs half bent and his toenails were like claws. They barely had a chance to feed, wash and clothe him before he escaped from them. Police said to be on the lookout as he is a danger to the public. And finally, at number 1 now.
What? He still. Damn.
Look, I gotta go see if we got. I gotta go see if we got some updates or something.
I know, right? Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Ain't no way he's still surviving, dog.
There is a way. If he went back to what he's used to, you can survive. If they surviving and he trusts them, they trust him, they gonna keep him alive as long as they can.
Oh,
That is crazy.
yeah.
We have Kamala and Amala, better known as the Wolf Children. These girls were discovered in 1920 in the jungles of Godavari in India. Aged just 1 and 8, they were found to have been living with a wolf pack. The man who found them took them in and tried to rehabilitate them back into human life, and he kept a diary of their progress for almost 10 years. They wouldn't let anyone dress them and would scratch and bite people who tried to feed them. They also rejected any cooked food and chose to walk on all fours, leaving thick calluses on their palms and knees. They were nocturnal and could see very well in the dark, as well as having an acute sense of smell and hearing. Sounds just like a wolf. They preferred to eat raw meat, and the only emotion they showed was fear. Amala died in 1921 from kidney failure, and Kamala in 1929 from tuberculosis. Wow, I honestly found those stories so incredible.
Because the raw meat can't be like,
yeah.
Eventually, you know what I'm saying? Eventually, you gotta understand. Eventually, you're gonna pass away from eating, right? If that's all you eat, right? Or am I wrong? You're like, I don't know. So ask them. Let me know in the comment section down below, because I just don't believe like somebody could really.
I mean,
You never know.
Look at me. I'm like really thinking.
Because is there such thing as raw meat diet? Can't be. You know, they got everything.
For humans?
Yeah, raw meat diet.
I mean, people eat raw food.
Raw meat diet? Like, where you only...
Well, not only, but I mean, I've never heard of someone only being on a raw meat diet.
You never know.
But
you swear you never know, man. So with that being said, y'all spam us up in the comment section down below. Maybe somebody can answer that for me.
Yeah.
Maybe, because you never know who you cross and what type of knowledge they got. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, as always, y'all already know how it go, man. I do go by the name DJ New Kid. This is
Sierra Nicole.
We are.
Kid and C.
We are, y'all.
Ain't no time to kick it, got a stack of flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partner.